Yeah.
Di Maria or Ozil?
I ain't going to go for Di Maria. I'm a United fan. Let's have it right. Ozil.
It's Friday and it's Q&A time, and we are kicking things off with one from me, actually. Pratush Pradhan has said, Bayern are eyeing on Dybala for a Lewandowski replacement. Do you think he will overcome Lewandowski's goal per season? Wow.
That's a big ask
That is
for him,
massive.
isn't it? I mean, you look at Lewandowski and it's like, what, you're hitting like 40 goals like every season. And obviously Dybala's not there yet, but when you look at like Lewandowski's early like few seasons, obviously he was not hitting those numbers. So I feel like Dybala's like on his way to progressing, like he's getting better and stuff like that. I mean, I think he's only got like 10 goals so far this season, versus Lewandowski's obviously got 40 already. Yeah. So it's like, it's one of those. I don't think you can compare.
I'm not even sure they're the same position.
No, I think he's a great player. And I think if he has, if he's lucky enough to have, like a really long career with no major injuries and he's consistent in his game, I'm sure he could, get some really good stats with goals. But I think it takes something special to be so consistent of hitting those big numbers every season, and I don't necessarily think if he's got that in him.
That's what I think. If Dybala's playing up front and he's got the service, he's got the talent in him to do a Lewandowski season.
But not every season.
But not every season, not consistently. I don't think Bayern would replace him with Lewandowski, personally, because there's no need to get rid of Lewandowski. And secondly, because I think Dybala isn't quite a natural replacement. He'd probably be a supporting striker, as kind of Thomas Müller is.
Yeah. Right, next question. So this is from Sunwabil Boy, I think. So, do you think there is potential of Barca returning to the standard they once were under Pep? Who is to blame for the current mess? The board, coach, players? Who do you feel should be brought in or taken out to bring the change they need to win that treble for a third time?
Wow. I mean,
big question.
Yeah, it's so difficult. It's so complicated. So I'm going to take this earpiece out. It's never worked. It's a very, very complicated question at Barcelona. And I think the thing to remember is that, personally, I think Guardiola not only had a fantastic team, but him being an amazing coach made it a fantastic team. I think that there aren't so... I can't think of many teams who are going to completely and utterly dominate, especially when it comes to the Champions League and then the league season. Like Real Madrid had, 4 Champions League title victories in 5 years, and I think they only won the title in one of those seasons. So putting both together is difficult. Liverpool this season, brilliant in Premier League, faltered in the Champions League. Manchester City, for all their dominance under Pep Guardiola, couldn't then do it in the Champions League.
Hard to do it all.
Yeah, it's so difficult to do it all. So to win a treble is going to be so difficult. But if anyone will, I think it will be Pep. He's the one who's been dominant with Barca, dominant with Bayern, apart from the Champions League, they got to the semis. Dominant with Manchester City, apart from the Champions League. I mean, returning to that standard is very difficult. As I said, they had the best crop of players in the world. They're a phenomenal team, and I think there's some really good teams out there now who are all in for a shout that make it a little bit more difficult, personally. And I think... Who's to blame for the current mess? Well, there's all sorts of questions out there. The board are to blame. They're not signing this and they're not signing that. When realistically, the players just aren't as good.
I think they're just in that period of kind of transition to like a new team without Messi, and it's like in a way, and I don't mean this in a horrible way, like I want to see Messi retire, but you're kind of at that point now, like, right, when's he going to retire? When can they move on and start like this next chapter?
But this is the thing, and unless they get like a whole new squad in, they're probably going to have to wait for Messi to go before they can start this new chapter. But I think you can point so many fingers, like they do at United as well, say on the board this and the board that. And don't get me wrong, the board obviously does take blame at Barcelona for some crazy decisions and all the leaked stuff that was happening and the stuff with Abidal and Messi and all that kind of business. But at the end of the day, back in 2009, 2010, when Guardiola was doing his thing, they had literally the best in the world in pretty much every position. And now they don't. And unless they're willing to sign all of them up again, all the best players in the world at the moment, which is very difficult, I don't think it's going to happen. But a good question, though. Right, Chabezi DK has said, do you think Odegaard and Valverde become the next midfield duo of the decade? Like Kroos and Modric, Iniesta and Xavi? Or will they be better? Wow.
Oh, that's a big ask. Iniesta and Xavi, I always feel like that's a very unique case.
Super unique, yeah.
I think it's not comparing it because I believe they were better, but like from a United point of view, it's like they weren't a duo, but like a Giggs and Scholes thing, as in when you've got two players that have played together for so long and they know each other inside and out. I think those cases are very rare. Valverde, as I've said this season, I think he's been fantastic. I think he's a really promising player for them. I think if they can because I think Odegaard could maybe, if Real Sociedad try and get him for another season, maybe.
Yeah, they've got an option in the loan deal to get for another season.
I mean, I'm sure he'd probably be like, oh, yeah, what, Real Madrid want me back? Yeah, right, see you later.
Yeah, that's the thing.
I think if they had time to I think if they both, are at Real Madrid at the same time, they are surrounded by, really good players. I mean, I think a few of those midfielders will be dropping out, like Modric and stuff like that, maybe. But I think if they're around, really good players in similar positions and they have that time to gel together, I think why not? I think they could be like a really, really good duo.
Yeah.
At that level, time will tell. Me personally, I don't really think a lot of Iniesta-Xavi duos come around this often. But
Absolutely
I think they could be a really good duo, but I think they need that time. And it's good that they're both so young because they've got this time now to gel together and to really figure each other out.
That's the thing. Real Madrid need to trust them and play them enough to become that kind of team. They can't have them in for a season and then they gel, reasonably well together and then just say, oh, sorry, we're spending 100 million on Pogba instead, so we're breaking you two up.
Yeah.
They need to give it time, but I agree. There isn't another Iniesta and Xavi. That was such a unique set of circumstances.
Yeah.
I can't see it
Very
happening.
rare. Right, and next question. This is from Patrick Cruz. What went wrong this season at Ajax?
Oh, well. I mean, in terms of going wrong, just because they didn't reach the Champions League semi-finals, they didn't even reach the knockout round. I'm not so sure things went necessarily wrong. They weren't as good as they were in the Champions League, for sure. Having said that, they were in a difficult group with the likes of Chelsea, Valencia and Lille. A rather open group. But I think the obvious point is that they did lose massive players. Yeah. They lost Frenkie de Jong, their best central midfielder, arguably. Their captain and best centre-back, Matthijs de Ligt. And also on top of this, Lasse Schöne also left as well, who was a phenomenal player for them last season. And I think his particular set of skills, and Schöne was an incredible set-piece taker, incredibly gifted on the ball. Not necessarily quick enough or physical enough to be a top player. But he's a massive miss for Ajax in the Eredivisie. And they just didn't replace him as well. Neres has had injuries. You lose a few of some of the best players you've ever had in the last few years, maybe even in the last decade or so. You're going to struggle. They've actually been better in the season, in the Eredivisie this season than they were last season. Last season there was a right fight with them and PSV. I think, although to be fair, when it was cancelled, they were top with AZ Alkmaar. I feel like Ajax might be doing a little better. They may have not, but I think, when you set an unbelievable standard like that, like reaching the semi-finals, knocking out Real Juventus, it's not a failure if you don't do it again. It's more that success was a one-off peak, which is incredibly difficult to replicate, I think. Right, Quickfire Gaming. Quickfire for Angelina from Undisputed Gaming. Mixing everything up here. Ronaldinho or Neymar?
Ronaldinho.
Lo Celso or Kovacic?
Kovacic, just because I feel like I've maybe seen him more. I think,
Di Maria or Ozil?
I ain't going to go for Di Maria. I'm a United fan, let's have it right. Ozil.
Reece James or Max Aarons? I like both.
Reece James.
I think they're great.
Yeah.
Ancelotti or Mourinho?
both very good managers have had a lot of great success. I'd probably just go for Mourinho just because I like his messiness and, I just like that personality. I think it's quite amusing.
Exactly.
So, yeah.
It's always entertaining. Mohamed Starr, next up. Do Chelsea really need to bring in new midfielders like Havertz and Rice if they're to challenge for the title, despite them having good options in midfield?
I can see the appeal of players like that and why they would maybe want them. But at the same time, I think they just need to sort out what they're doing because they do have a lot of people in midfield. I think you've got Jorginho, who everyone was thinking, is he going to go back to Italy? Yeah. I think him and Lampard have kind of sorted things out. He's like vice captain, isn't he? You've then got Kovacic, who's had a really good season.
Yeah, he's a star for sure.
Kante, still a top player. I know he's had injuries and stuff. And then you've got, newcomers like Gilmore. Then you've got people, I know there's rumours Barkley might not be staying, but you've got Mount. Yeah. All these people in midfield. I think it would be nicer not nicer, but it would be nicer, me personally, to see Lampard kind of use the resources that he's got and really, I don't know, it's been like after whatever happens with this season, kind of regroup. I think it would be a shame to see him going out and maybe buying certain players so that some of these young players don't end up getting a chance. I don't know. I can see why they'd want it, but I'd like to see what they've got have a go.
Yeah, exactly. I think that Rice isn't worth the 70 million, apparently.
No.
I don't think they need him because they've got better players. Havertz is brilliant. Every team, I'm sure, in Europe would love to have Kai Havertz. But I think you're right. I think this Chelsea side, they stick together. We're talking about players sticking together. They keep this Chelsea team together for 2 or 3 seasons. They'll all be 2 or 3 years more experienced playing with each other. They'll be brilliant.
Yeah.
I can see positions in which Chelsea could improve. Or, I think they need a backup striker. If Giroud leaves on a free, which he might, Batshuayi never seems to hit the ground running when he gets given a chance. And Tammy Abraham's the only one. But I think this certainly the starting 11, this team could really improve with a few more years. And they're all at such a great age. Apart from left back, where Marcos Alonso, I think, is getting to his 30s. Same with Cesar Azpilicueta. And, he's not right back anymore because Reece James has been brilliant. Apart from that, they've got a really good group of players, all with different abilities. But I think who could gel really, really well together with another 2 or 3 years. I think Chelsea would be great.
I agree. Scary.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, so the next one is from Nabs. So, who is better at? So, crossing, De Bruyne or Trent?
Oh, De Bruyne. Yeah.
Shooting, Aguero or Kane?
Ooh. I think Kane's technique is better. The way he hits the ball is phenomenal, although Aguero's more prolific. I'd say Aguero then.
Okay. Penalties, Ronaldo or Ramos?
Ramos. Love him. I just think they're great. Ronaldo's great at penalties too, but Ramos good.
Free kicks, Messi or Beckham?
Beckham. Even I know Messi scored loads more for all of you out there going crazy at the keyboard. I know Messi scored more.
I think the young Matt within you that loved Beckham.
Loves Beckham, yeah. We talk about it every week. It's David Beckham. It's iconic. I don't care how many Messi scores.
Dribbling, Sancho or Ousmane Dembele?
Ousmane Dembele or Sancho? Ousmane Dembele is brilliant because he can go either way, left or right foot. It's fascinating to watch his balance and movement. Sancho, super old school, drop the shoulder, great pace. I'm going to go for Dembele.
Okay. And last one, defending, Joe Gomez or De Ligt?
Does no one even like defending anymore? I like De Ligt style of play. Joe Gomez is fantastic as well, but I'm going to go for De Ligt. Right, next up, Big Buster Brown says, Angelina, where do you think Jamaica, if eligible players represented the country, like Sterling, Rose, Mikel Antonio, Carl Walker, Troy Deeney, Sturridge, Oxlade-Chamberlain would be? And how would they do in, say, the World Cup? That's quite a phenomenal team, that is.
This, stresses me out. And it's I can understand why players, they want to play for England. I know not all of those players I know obviously Sterling was actually born in Jamaica.
Yeah.
I know not all of them are necessarily born there, but most of them, they do go for England, and you can understand why.
Yeah.
But a part of me just wishes, the team that would be, I think they'd be fantastic. I mean, I think Wes Morgan's retired now, hasn't he? But you've also got players like Chris Smalling, actually, could play for Jamaica.
Oh,
wow. I know, obviously, he's got a bit of a sketchy past, but still a very good player. Ravel Morrison, who used to play for United,
Yeah.
he's at Sheffield now. He does play for Jamaica. You've got Andre Gray, Loftus-Cheek. There are so many players. And I think if you think about them all, I think that would be a fantastic World Cup squad.
It would be a great team.
Yeah.
It's a bit of fantasy, but it would be good.
Yeah. I mean, I don't necessarily think they'd be winning the World Cup.
No.
But I think they would have a really good crack at it. So, yeah, I always think about that. It makes me quite sad that it probably won't happen, but we can dream. Right. Next question. This is from Turt Lover. I don't know if that's supposed to be Turtle Lover, Turt Lover, whatever. If the Premier League is cancelled, will Liverpool win the league again next year? Love from Israel.
Yeah, they're in the best position. They're in the best position by far. They've got the least to do in the transfer market. It is a big summer of transfers for the chasing pack: City, Man United. Maybe not for Chelsea, but like we said, I'm not sure next year they'll be ready to challenge. Yeah, Liverpool would definitely be the favourites, assuming they keep their team together, which, apart from
for the most part,
apart from a bit of paper talk, I don't actually think there's any serious threat to anyone leaving, like Salah or Mane or anyone like that. Yeah, Liverpool will keep their team together. I'm sure they'll be favourites, and yeah, I'm pretty certain they'll win it again if they come with the same intensity.
I also feel like if it is, say it's voided and they don't actually get the trophy, I think that team, surely you would be spurred on even more.
Oh my God,
to be right, next season we're winning it 100%. No one's going anywhere. We're doing a rerun.
To smash it, next up, Marvin Ali said, question for Angelina: what should Lingard do to try and salvage what's left of his career? Personally, I think it's time for Championship football.
Or retirement. No, I'm joking.
Honestly, the Lingard jokes online wind me up. It was funny one time about 4 years ago.
Yeah.
Oh.
I mean, as a United fan and someone that's kind of watched him from a very young age, it's sad to see. I mean, I know he's got some personal issues going on at the moment regarding this season. I know a lot of people say, maybe he just needs when the things were still normal, maybe he just needs the summer and then to come in fresh. But I just think it's been an absolute write-off this season. Salvaging what's left of his career, obviously he signed with a certain agent, shall we say, and I assume that he will just, I think money talks, whatever money move he can make. I don't necessarily know if he's going to have the longest career. I don't know the guy, but I feel like it's going to be more the money moves, even if he's not the most amazing. I think whatever decent team he can get at, he will just go out and try and move.
This is the thing. I feel like he knows he's one of these players, and there are plenty of players like this at every club. He knows when he moves, he's not moving he's not going to be a progressive transfer.
No.
There is no way he is signing for a Champions League team, a Champions League contender, or anyone of the stature of Manchester United. In true Manchester United fashion, he'll probably move to Everton. That is
I was just about to say Everton.
Honestly, I have such a funny thing about Everton. They're literally the stepping stone. If you're a good player, you move to Everton, then you get the big move. And if you're a kind of okay player from a big team, you move down to Everton. They're the most bizarre side. They're they're the highway going each direction.
Yeah, it is a weird one. I could see him at a team like that. I think he will go for the highest category, the highest team in that category that you're talking about, that will give him the most money. And I think he will just move around that section. And then, I don't know, maybe end up at a West Ham towards the end.
In all honesty, if he plays football, you'd probably see a better Lingard. It's just injury and being kept out of the team, and then brand new big money signings, and then this and that. And I'm not saying, it's also not his fault for maybe not being good enough. But, he needs to run a games. He needs a full season's worth of football before you judge him.
I mean, maybe Newcastle will buy him, who knows?
That is the exact move I'm thinking. Newcastle.
Right.
Go on, next up.
Next question for you. So this is from Ryan Andy. So question for Matt. Who are your top 5 greatest footballers of all time? If David Beckham doesn't get into this...
Oh my God. We actually do this on the Thursday favourites on the Daily News, for those of you who watch that as well, where we pick the top 5 favourite or whatever. The 5 greatest footballers of all time, I can't really think of an order. To be honest, Beckham was one of my favourites, but not the greatest. Beckham wasn't the greatest. I can't think of an order right now, and I don't want to set the comment section on fire.
5 randoms.
The ones that certainly that I've been around to see and judge: Messi, Ronaldo, Zidane, Iniesta, and this is going to be a tough one. Oh, I think I'm going to go with Rooney.
Okay.
And I know that Rooney's stats as a striker may not be up there with the rest of them. They're actually pretty damn good considering he didn't always play striker. I just think talent-wise, I've said it before, talent-wise was by far and away the most talented footballer England had. Obviously, players like Gerrard are brilliant. Oh, I'm also missing out Ronaldo as well, Brazilian Ronaldo. I'll get slaughtered, whatever. So I'm going Rooney, Iniesta, Zidane, Messi, Ronaldo. But not in that order.
No, not in that order.
For those of you waiting, wow, did he put Messi above Ronaldo? What? You're mad? I'm unsubscribing. Don't. Right, next up, Liv Thorpe said, what's your favourite ice cream flavour?
See, my favourite, everyone hates on it, but I like mint chocolate chip.
Oh, yeah, I'm down with that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I can get a bit of mint chocolate. Anything with chunks of something in it, like caramel. Oh, that's good. I am also a bit of a fruit guy when it comes to ice cream.
Okay.
Bit of sorbet. That's not ice cream, is it? Lemon sorbet, passion fruit. I don't know. Mint chocolate chip's good. It's not my favourite, but I'm pleased that you stood up for what you believed in.
Thank you. Okay, final question. So this is from Dev Vidit. So, if these footballers had to play one character from Harry Potter, which one would it be? Right. Number 1, this? Ronaldo.
I've never seen all the Harry Potters. I know. This. Right. I was doing a quiz night the other night, and a Harry Potter round came up, and I was like, well, this is ridiculous. I think I've read a bit of one book, and I've watched 2 or 3 films. It's really not my thing, Harry Potter.
Right, well, I'm going to have a go.
Okay, you do the question. I'll ask you the question.
Ronaldo would be a Hermione Granger, i.e. very kind of bit bossy.
Yeah.
Thinks he's, the best thing since sliced bread. I feel like that. I feel like Messi would be a good Harry Potter.
Long brown hair, bit of a wizard.
Yeah. Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba. See, I'm not his number 1 fan, so I'm feeling like he'd be a bit of a what's his name? Malfoy, the guy that's against Messi.
Ah, the evil guy, yeah.
The guy that's against Harry Potter, yeah. I feel like, I don't know why. Lewandowski. I don't know. I like him as a person, so I feel like he'd be like a Hagrid, just wants the best for everyone and just tries to do the nice thing.
Doesn't he live in a tiny hut outside of the school grounds?
Yeah, but he's no one really hates on him.
Okay, yeah, that's true. You can't hate him.
Philip Lahm, I don't know.
Philip Lahm, lastly but not least.
Oh, I really don't know.
Very versatile, like a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Like that lady who's also a cat.
There
is someone in Harry Potter.
I'm sure, I feel like I'm not like a Harry Potter like amazing. I just watched. I have actually just watched them all. But yeah, he can be that. Yeah, why not?
Perfect. And on that note, all you Harry Potter fans, let us know about those 5 footballers. Anyway, thank you so much for all of your questions. As always, every Wednesday night in the YouTube community tab is where you can find our call to action for you guys to ask the questions. Yeah, thank you so much for all of them as always. Let us know your thoughts in the comment section. Give us a like, and if you did unsubscribe over the Messi and Ronaldo debate, hit the subscribe button again and let us know why. Anyway, until next week, that is goodbye from me and Angelina.